fixing her dress at one point and he like walked in front of her to hide the camera, I was like, you stop it. You're great.
Yep.
And him crying after.
Wait, what are you all talking about? What were you talking about, Kevin?
Spider-Man. Spider-Man.
Were you talking about Tom Holland and Zendaya and how amazing they look together?
You beefed up. You look good.
Yeah.
I got bit by a radioactive spider, and so the glasses are fake. I'm just wearing them because that's my look.
I see.
Yeah. That's your Clark Kent. You have to do that. Please, for the love of God, wear this outfit when you go see Spider-Man.
I am not thinking about that. I also have a Spider-Man T-shirt that I probably will go with.
No.
So
Don't put the T-shirt over that.
I am so excited for Spider-Man. Tomorrow night, opening night, IMAX, New York City. I will be there at 10 p.m. Not the 6 p.m. So if you're at the 6 p.m., do not spoil it in the hallways, everybody.
Hey, what theater in New York City are you going to see that
The
at?
Lincoln Center, the only true IMAX in New York City, Lincoln Center. So
cool. Perhaps we'll talk about that again in a little bit.
What? New York? Marvel? It's time for Hawkeye!
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
Back to you.
Hey.
And Mike.
And me. I'm in the lower corner. Dressed like Spider-Man.
Yeah, you are the Spider-Man of Remark. You came in late, but you're a fan favorite, buddy.
Fan favorite. Underoos. You should have made your entrance that way.
Jump in from up above.
I mean, we don't know what's happening below screen here.
That
It's
is
true.
Yeah.
It's someone else on the bottom. All right, I was going to spoil something, but I won't. Now, folks, I don't know if you remember who I am, but I'm Kristin Finger. I'm one of the hosts of Remark, and to the other side of me is...
I'm another one of the hosts, Kevin Reagan, and bit by a radioactive spider down in the corner, we have...
Your stage manager and fun time third host, Mike Gregoric, hanging out, everybody. Psst, thwip, 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 thwip.
Yes. Can you believe it's episode 5? I don't understand how this is almost over. I don't understand.
I also don't know how I lost count because I swore this went to the 30th of December, and then I guess it's because the first 2 episodes came out
At the same time. Maybe.
Yeah. But I swore we were doing this right up to New Year's, and then I was looking at a calendar maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was like, I don't have anything to do that night. That's going to be lovely.
That's going to be really nice. So I will say, even before you go into the start of this episode synopsis, I, on a whim, but maybe on instinct, rewatched. Rewatched Black Widow last night just for fun.
Oh, good idea.
Nice.
And it literally, when I started watching this episode, I said, wow, my Spidey instincts are on point this week.
If for nothing else, it helped you with the mac and cheese or macaroni, depending on which culture you come from.
Sure.
Yeah.
I watched Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man movies, and those didn't help at all. But I'm excited for them tomorrow night.
Those ruined everything.
I watched Tom Holland on Hot Ones, so we all did our own little MCUing.
We all did so much.
Speaking of watching something that we all did, we all watched episode 5 of Hawkeye called simply Ronin. I thought it was Rowan, as in Rowan Atkinson, and I got super excited. It was not. That would have been weird. But we start this episode 5 years ago in 2018. How the hell is 2018 5 years ago, guys?
I don't know, and I don't want to talk about it further. Carry on, Kevin.
I didn't even do the math.
Oh, it is. It really is. I mean, like, we're on the precipice, anyhow, of 2022. But, oh, my God, like, the idea that it really has been that long is, like, kind of frightening. So it turns out, we see a couple of Black Widows running across the rooftop in the opening of this film, or episode. At any point, I know it's hard to see, but did any of you think, just hopefully, that there was the slimmest, teeniest, tiniest possibility that was Scarlett Johansson up there?
No.
For like I'll give you the tiniest, Kevin, for a split second, but it was very clearly not very fast.
Yeah. I mean, very quickly you realize, absolutely. But man, for just a second, I was like, how did the internet not, decipher this? And then it was Sophia, or Sophie rather, who happens to be another Black Widow. She and Yelena are breaking into this mansion to, what we find out is they're finding Anna, another Black Widow, and they're going to gas her. So Kristin, having just watched Black Widow again, got all that information once again. This was to take away the mind control that Yelena felt was holding over her, which will come back into play in a weird sense. So what she thought was that this woman, Anna, was under mind control by probably some wealthy, rich guy. You know how some of the Black Widows were essentially sold off into almost a slavery to wealthy, especially in the comic books, but even in the movie they allude to this. And we find out that that is not the case, that Anna is of her own free will. She's become a mercenary, she is a killer for hire, she's using all of her skills, and she has this gorgeous, beautiful home, and they basically just ruined her rug, $20,000 rug, for no particular reason whatsoever. So, and then at that point, there is a reference. I thought about doing a whole bit about Sex and the City, guys, and I was like, I really don't have the energy to do that. But Sex and the City is referenced. Very little photoshopping in this episode. And then Yelena has to go use the restroom. And while in the restroom, something happens. Hey, look, we've all used friends' restrooms and bad things can happen. And what the hell? She gets unsnapped. Which brings me once again to my plea to Kevin Feige and Marvel. There has to be a series called Unsnapped that you use some superhero characters, some people. I mean, was so fascinating and so cool.
So good.
Like I think that show is called The Leftovers. I think they already made that, but do you know what I'm talking about? Like that's literally
good other nerd or cult show reference. I like that.
We're not talking Left Behind. I know sometimes for Hallmark.
No, The Leftovers.
But we're not getting into Brothers crap too. Okay, good. That's fine.
But I thought this. Sorry, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
No, I'm also, just anytime they show others like pre-snapped other characters during the snap, how it affected people on like a smaller level, I get shivers, I get like a little bit emotional, and I'm instantly like in. And then when this cut right to the Marvel opening, I was like, like I had a movie theater cheering moment. So good.
So the thing that like sort of broke me was I thought they were just gonna like I liked that they showed it back to back, like gone but then back. And also I love their new bathroom color choice. Like it went to that beautiful green.
Did you? I actually had a problem with it.
I like very mid-century. So then we see her go out, and literally when she says, I need to find Natasha, I was crying. I'm very emotional. Oh no!
Does everybody know she's dead? I mean, like, I don't know where they are in that exact moment, but and we get it. Anna doesn't ever answer, but without a doubt, Yelena just continues to look at her like, what aren't you telling me? Why are you just sitting there?
That's what's interesting is that, like, because essentially when everyone came back, it was right after Natasha, like right after they did that. So it's not like there was breaking news that Natasha was dead yet. So I don't think she knew yet, but she knew she would know.
Yes. Yeah. Eventually. Yeah.
Well, and then that one beat, they take one extra beat of black screen, you know what I mean? From that for this awkward moment to hit, to then go into the Marvel title, and I was like, oh god,
my soul.
Yeah. So good.
Also, we should have said at the top of the show, spoilers abound, as always.
Come on, nerds. Like, what are you doing?
If you're
watching first.
Yeah, if you're still stuck on Age of Ultron and you're watching this, I don't know what to tell you. We messed up a lot of stuff for you. So then we have our opening credit sequence. We have our previously on, and then we open back up on the episode in which Kate returns home, and Eleanor, her mom, mums her. She tends to her wounds. which was really nice. Again, no matter what we find out about Eleanor, there's something very cool about, like, she's still a mom and she still cares for her kid. And, you know, Chris, you can speak this a little more, having just watched Black Widow, but there was
I thought you were going to say being a mom, and I was like, Kevin, I'm not a mom.
Oh, are you not? I'm so sorry.
I have Agent Coulson.
Yeah, absolutely. Agent Coulson was just in our shot a moment ago.
Just in the shot. He was like, I have things to say. Okay, yes, we're just watching Black Widow.
Yeah. So, and we see, like, her parents, or adoptive parents, are very dysfunctional, but at the same time, they clearly care for both Natasha and Yelena. So,
yeah, it like when when he starts singing the song to her, like, oh my goodness. Anywho, enough about Black Widow. Let's carry on with this episode.
Well, Black Widow's in this episode, yeah.
It's important that we know that the mom put on the Band-Aid wrong. Clint taught her how to put on a proper, and then so what I thought was actually quite sweet and like through line about that was like, obviously that's how she taught her kid how to put on a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
So that's almost showing to me that mom doesn't have some weird secret fighting skills and has gotten bumped and bruised.
Agreed.
So that kind of, you know.
Yeah, she's never worked a day in her life, like someone else will find out in a little bit. But we also have this very weird thing that her mother says to her, which is, does Clint think you're a superhero? And like, I found that to be really interesting that was thrown out. And then she says no. And she also says she herself doesn't consider herself a superhero. But kind of, Chris, to your point, which is awesome, because I didn't think of that with the Band-Aid, she learns things, you know? And there is this, I'm just going to say this real fast. There's this stupid thing on the internet right now that they're trying to Mary Sue, you know, the term Mary Sue, this character, by saying she's just there, and they're making her do things that she wouldn't be able to do. And it's like, this, we've seen her train in all of the opening sequences. We've seen all her, like, this young woman has grown up and done things. She's also failed a bunch, which, again, it shows you trial and error, but she's learning. And that's a great point. She had learned how to put the Band-Aid on from her mother, and then she learned the correct way to do it from Clint. So she is in constant training in a weird way, whether he wants to or not. Clint is training her. So
I read the "Are you a superhero?" thing as leading toward our final ultimate big bad, big no pun intended, which we've remarked on the last 2 weeks, and but that maybe
Santa
there's
Claus.
some
That who you're talking about, the Fat Man,
Santa Claus. But that maybe there is something that this organization was trying to get rid of superheroes. So it's like, oh, do you now fit in this class of people that I need to come at, because that was my job or whatever, to like find, you know, seek these people out through my security office, you know, type of thing.
So at the very end of that scene, Kate then levies some very unsubstantiated charges, really besmirching the good character of Jack.
Come on.
I know. Come on. Unbelievable. I was just as upset as you, Kristin. So Eleanor says she'll look into it. So you're going to find nothing. Guy, clean as a whistle.
I do like when your man finally. Do we have a picture of him in that?
We'll get. Don't you worry.
We're laughing now. For those of you maybe watching Remark for the first time, how dare you? First of all, but Kevin has a
weird one to jump into.
Huge man crush on Jack Duquesne, everyone, and
I'm only human, guys. I'm only human.
and
he is a superhuman. So.
Don't know.
Then we jump to another scene that actually is very similar to this, which is really nice, where we see Maya getting patched up by Kazi. So same sort of situation. She had the arrow from last week that Kate Bishop had shot into her arm. I'm going to call her Kate Bishop every time, just like Yelena.
Just like,
you know her.
Kate the Bishop.
She's getting all patched up. Kazi agrees to help her capture and kill Ronin, but says that she has to stop after that, which... perhaps there's a reason she wants him to kind of throw the brakes on after they get to Ronin. But there is that really cool connection between the two of them.
Are they lovers? Are they brother and sister? Are they cousins? Or are they lovers? Do you know?
So I don't think it's defined. There's a lot of talk that when she fights as a little kid, when she fights in that karate dojo, that the kid she beats up, the kid that he had just beat up, a lot of people say that was Kazi, because he's got the long stringy hair. In the comics, Kazi works for Kingpin, which obviously has absolutely nothing whatsoever to do with this entire series.
No.
He works,
especially an actor that was in a completely different series that has no connection to the universe whatsoever. Yeah.
Well, you would recast it, but we'll get to that. So Kazi worked for that gentleman whose name we just mentioned, Santa Claus, and he dated, if you can believe it, Kate Bishop. They dated. So in the comic books, it would be very weird if it goes that way. I don't think Kazi's going to make it through the rest of the series myself. I think this is...
No, I think he's going to be pretty... I think the moment she finds out that he... I mean, I think she already figured it out.
Yeah. Once she has definitive, he's
dead. He's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then we go to Kate's apartment. She goes, her burnt out apartment to clear everything out to come home to live with mom. And when she walks in, this is where Yelena is waiting, pots and pans, ready to go. That's the sriracha. Sriracha can be used as a weapon by a Black Widow. They throw sriracha around. Yelena catches it and says, "Hey, I made some macaroni." To which we find out that is macaroni and cheese, mac and cheese. Hell yeah.
Well, I do love that under Kate's breath. She's like, "Yeah, I know that box mac and cheese is really good." Like she.
I'm telling you, there is not many better things in my world that is as simple and as delicious as box mac and cheese with specifically sriracha. So I had a very weirdly specific visceral emotion.
I ate that, and oddly, I find the Kraft mac and cheese that are usually the shaped like SpongeBob or Spider-Man for some reason taste better.
Yeah, there's more density, I think.
Yeah, and I'd buy those by the pound in New York and would add sriracha to it.
Yeah.
Like right out of the pot like her. I was like, this is getting too real.
Where in New York would you buy it, Chris? A bodega, perhaps, that you'd like to talk about?
Yes, a bodega.
We'll talk. So they start to nosh a little, and we will come back to that scene, but until then we cut to Clint walking alone on the streets of New York, a la George Michael in Arrested Development, to Vince Guaraldi's Trios.
This is a weirdly specific reference, Kevin.
No, it is not. If you are an Arrested Development fan, there is no way in hell. First of all, there has been a huge... we've seen it in the Guardians of the Galaxy. We have seen, and we saw at the airport when they were when the Avengers were fighting the Bluth ladder truck. So there have been a lot of references to Arrested Development. When Clint was walking all sad and dejected, that was 100%. They play that exact music when George Michael walks all dejected.
Very funny. It's very funny.
Point.
Defend me, Internet. Defend me. You don't have to defend me about Jack, but defend me about this and about Jack.
I hope we're going to talk about Yelena more because I have something to say about her clothing choices.
Well, then let's come right back to Yelena. Here we are. We're right back in it. So,
all right.
I think we could have gone to the next slide too, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you want this one?
Something
there it is. Look. There's only half a bottle left. She used it all.
She squirted it.
All of it.
These are the things that Kevin looks up.
My theory on Yelena's outfits, and I thought of it last night when I watched Black Widow again and they show the ending scene. Mike is telling me to pause.
Kristin, Kevin, I have a really good picture of my favorite picture of Yelena from this episode that I would love to objectify if we can do it. And Kristin, because I feel like you're getting there. Are you ready to rock this? Are you ready to rock this?
Yes.
All right, everyone. It is time for another Hawkeye Heartthrob Hunkiness Objectification. Yeah. All right, let's start off with this punk from last week's episode.
There he is. There he is. Now, again, this man is being wrongly arrested. He says he can't have run Sloan Industries. He says, "I've never worked a day in my life." What a line. I love
What a line. But then he had a girlfriend named Sloan
in Palm Beach.
Yeah.
Well, let us go to the person that is the sexiest of them.
Well, we all agree.
Yeah.
Yelena.
Listen. Remark fans. I know we do not objectify women, but as someone that is so attracted to this woman.
Kristin has been objectifying her through text to me all day long.
This was a personal request. A personal request.
I am obsessed. Okay, so I'm gonna just go on a little rant. Also, tried to do my hair like hers. Yeah. It's not even close. But so look how naturally gorgeous she is. I'm so sorry. The thing that I have, my theory is there's the line in Black Widow where she was talking about her vest, and she says, this is the first thing that I picked out for myself in a very long time. So, and she gifts that to her sister. So what I don't know if you noticed, but her outfits are very Kristin-esque, if you will, very eclectic, and very fun patterns. Colors are mixed matched. And I think that is such a brilliant costuming choice on the Department of Costumes, because I think Yelena just sort of is almost like a kid at this point in herself, picking out outfits, because, you know, when you were little and your mom's like, all right, you can pick what you want to wear today, and you just pick all of your favorite things, which is literally what I do every day still. And if it matches, it matches. If not, it doesn't. But she is.
It rarely does.
Me or her?
No.
I think that's a great point, because it's very Kate Bishop as well. You know what I mean? She like kind of threw something together. She looked great, but she threw something together from her aunt's stuff, right? She has like my favorite outfit of hers, I think, is like the purple, the full purple, like baggy
purple sweatsuit.
You know what I mean? Just like, again, stuff she's finding. Then she throws a jacket, a nice jacket. I'm like, oh my God, it like works. It works.
It looks really good. Like I might need to buy a full like Hanes purple sweatsuit just for life. So we don't want to, all right, let's objectify her. She's perfect. I give her a 10 million. This is on Heinze level. Florence Pugh, you are lovely, and I am stalking you now. Kevin, what do you give her?
I will not give her anything because I don't want to objectify a woman. So I will just concur with Kristin and say yes.
Great.
I will also not objectify her. I will only say that every single scene I find something new to be attracted to her in about it, whether it's as simple as sort of the like just the look and sort of the feel and the hairstyles, or like the comedy, or like the toughness or the tenacity. Like it's every time I've seen it. So every scene she pops in, it's a 10 on the level of just like of I'm into it.
I will even say that every time she pops out of a scene is the sexiest thing I've ever seen, because she just goes and then and goes backwards.
I believe that's also what Mike does.
Scenes like that so far.
That is how Mike leaves a scene, dressed like this.
I just crashed into my.
So, Florence Pugh, thank you for being the first woman they did not objectify, but that I have objectified. I couldn't not do it. You're perfect. Thank you so much.
Do we even acknowledge the fact that Kate Bishop only has one fork in her apartment and how she's living that minimalist lifestyle?
Nah, I get it.
I think it's funny too. I think it was just a fun, clever little like writers, like, you know, when writers add things about the characters, you know.
I loved it.
I thought it was great. It was fun little.
I will say, as Yelena devoured that sriracha, because again, it was a full bottle, and when she left, it was half empty, and all I could think, this is the comic nerd in me, thought, I wonder if she is the person in the MCU who likes hot sauce the most, and immediately I thought, that's probably Gambit. So for you comic book nerds who get it, you get it. But let's just move on. In that scene, they also talk a lot about New York City. Yelena is talking about she wants to see all the sights. She specifically mentions the Empire State Building. She mentions the new and improved Statue of Liberty.
I didn't. Okay. Well, let's transition. Right? Here we go. It's time to play. Welcome to New York. Wow, I didn't know I was going to play it that way until the moment, and I felt it. It felt good. It felt good. Really? Go. Tell us about the Statue of Liberty.
I didn't know that did they redo her? Did she get a new dress? What happened to her?
They did some refurbishment over the last years.
That's not what she's referring to, fellas. You know what she's referring to? Mike can tell you after he sees Spider-Man tomorrow.
Oh,
shut your face. Shut up.
Oh,
Nope, 100% true.
Oh, geez, you're right. Okay, this is not a Spider-Man spoiler. And if you're on the internet and you've seen Spider-Man, don't effing spoil it. We're gonna spoil Hawkeye though. So if you're watching, there's been a lot of talk about like an epic sort of the final epic battle is going to be surrounding the Statue of Liberty. And
Got it. Okay.
That is what Kevin I think is referencing. Kevin, you were saying there's not? We don't know officially if there's a direct link, but you're just assuming based off this, right? Like it has to be.
There is an image, and again, I'm not giving you a spoiler. This is in the trailers. There is an image. I want to say that the Statue of Liberty has the Captain America shield. So, and if that is not photoshopped or faked or what have you, so we'll see. We'll see. But she mentions that, and then Chris.
I was also going to say that maybe the makeover was after the filming of Ghostbusters 2. Eventually she had to make it back there and was just gooed up.
Or multiverse X-Men, Wolverine's claws went through some stuff in there. Yeah. That's too far back.
She's gone through so much. She's gone through so much.
Yeah. Poor lady. She's over 200 years old. Give her a rest, guys. Let's objectify the Statue of Liberty. Come on.
No. It's not this way. I'm gonna play that every time we mention something.
So Kate is a New Yorker, and Kate recommends Highline, and she recommends the Christmas market in Union Square. Mike is a New Yorker. Kristin lived in New York when she went to school there for many years. I wondered if you guys could recommend some places to me and our viewers to visit, and not like this places that we all know. I'm talking about like those little places that if you're a New Yorker,
I'll let Mike start because I honestly, the stuff I used to go to may not exist anymore.
I will say I thought this was a great example of like good writing and good research again. Like clearly someone on their staff was from New York because Yelena immediately hit like sort of the tourist attractions, right? The Empire State Building and Rockefeller Center, and Kate, like any good New Yorker would like reacted like, oh, what? Like Rockefeller Center? Oh, you're not joking. And then the top thing, I was again embarrassed, just like the sriracha on the macaroni. I was again embarrassed to be so connected when she said the High Line, because the High Line is like the number one thing that I recommend to tourists visiting New York right now that want to do something a little bit more hip. It's this elevated train that they turned into a walking park. It goes all the way from like the Lower West Side up into Hudson Yards and 34th Street, and it's very cool. It's a fun outdoor activity. You see the city in a cool viewpoint. What was the second thing she recommended again?
Christmas market in Union Square.
Oh yeah, again, that feels a little bit played out. There's a lot of Christmas markets everywhere, but it's something that's iconic and everybody knows.
That's probably very similar to our Christmas village here in Philly, the one around City Hall. It's probably comparable, I bet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's nice about Union Square is it is more of the artists, like the indie artists, market, as opposed to some of the more like, oh, you can get iPhone cases at this holiday market. Right. You know what I mean?
What about something like the rock cave that the bird lady in Home Alone 2 lives in?
That's not a thing, Kevin. No.
Oh, is it not?
No. Highline's great. I would immediately ask what neighborhood she was staying in, because I feel like that's important. I would give her some John's of Bleecker Street. If they want a good pizza, I'd give her some H&H bagels if she wants a good bagels. A lot of my destinations would be food-based, but I thought Kate the Bishop did an excellent job.
Nice.
Yeah.
My favorite place. My favorite place would be, and it's a little chilly for it, but it still would be a lovely walk, get a hot chocolate and walk across along the Brooklyn Heights Promenade. It is the best views, I think, of the city and the bridge. Like you could start at the end and walk all the way to oh my goodness. So I used to live in Brooklyn Heights in like a housing situation when I was going to school there. And that was like emo Kristin would go there and cry about life and stuff. So like it has a very special place in my heart. But I even have a sketch, I don't know where it is, but with the Twin Towers in it, because they were up when I first moved there. So like it was like the perfect little drawing of a skyline. Anyway, not to bring up 9/11, but that would be where I would send her, because and also those houses are stunning and they decorate beautifully for Christmas that are along the promenade.
Is there a particular Dwayne Reed you guys would recommend, or?
Oh, heck yeah.
Funny story, Kevin. The very popular Dwayne Reed that has a subway station that comes up into it in Times Square, that was like your go-to place at 2 a.m. for like that one tall boy you didn't need, or the bag of chips that you were starting. It's closed, everybody. It's closed. The Times Square theater is closed. How dare you bring that up? It's very emotional for us New Yorkers right now.
Wow.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Let's get back to the episode.
Please.
Yeah. So those are the places we recommend in New York. And
that was
None of those places you can get reindeer at. It's chewy anyway.
Yes,
that conversation was hilarious.
Yeah. That conversation went into a very serious conversation, which was amazing to do that. So, and again, that's that idea of comedy and drama and that balance in Marvel, because soon thereafter, Kate Bishop asks Yelena why she's here, what she's here to see Clint, and she says, no, I'm here to kill him. And that becomes the whole point of, what her mission is here, and Kate trying to figure out what the hell is going on. So, well,
that's also that's when she learns that like she's doing this for a living. Like she's doing it for revenge, but also for like she was hired by somebody. Yeah. And I think also, I mean, I wasn't mad in this scene, but I was like, because it was the moment that I think we talked about 2 episodes ago where I was so scared that Kate would start to hate Clint because of things Yelena said, but she didn't sway, but Yelena's not going to sway. No. So like as an improviser, there's a moment in a scene where one person has to sort of say, okay, and then like that way the scene can continue. Right. So like as an annoying improviser watching this scene, I was like, no one's point of view is going to change and I'm losing my mind.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
Luckily they had the scripted page, so they were able to navigate through. But yeah, absolutely, Chris. But this mirrors that original scene with Anna where Yelena is making an assumption about Clint because she doesn't know any of the stuff that went down in Vormir. How could she know that? Yeah. So I think there's something very cool about that. But I love that Kate stuck to her guns and did not sway, because I thought the same thing. Are they going to do that thing where she just starts to second guess? And as far as we saw, and there's a scene that I personally think there's just no way in hell they're going to do it, that's coming up and we'll talk about. But I don't think she's going to sway at all. She is absolutely team Clint. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I think that was what was the beautiful moment of Haley Steinfeld acting like alone in her room, just looking over her past and realizing that's not my past. That's now. Like that's what's made me now. Yeah. And I thought that was a really cool moment, because there's other moments in like, I don't know. I thought that was really beautifully sort of shot and acted, because it could have been a little cheesy.
There have been some scenes in these Marvel TV series that I felt like it was a little self-indulgent in terms of hanging on to characters and being like, look how well we write. I was fearful in the like middle of the scene, like, oh, they're going to let this play out too long, but I enjoyed every second of it. I think this series has had a few of those moments. We talked about the like phone call scene with Hawkeye, like a couple intimate moments of characters, like just like resting, where you're like, we don't need the crazy action like every second. We don't need, you know what I mean? Right. And they've been all so well done in this series. And I thought this was another example of that for sure.
Yeah. And I think this we missed the opportunity when Clint goes back to Grill's place. We find out not only did Grills want to play our what would we name that dog game. Did you notice that? He was like, I came up with a good name for your dog, and we never got it. But we find out that their new outfits are ready.
Missy is done making them. Yep. So we don't see them in this episode.
We don't see them.
We only see them as the main image on Disney Plus. Everybody's
spoiled. So you know it's coming. Yeah. But unfortunately, then the show took a very serious turn.
God.
There was a moment. It was very sad. I know that a lot of us thought, "This is it. Why should I keep watching?" And if you jumped off at this point, I get it. I totally get it. And that was the next scene and the arrest of Jack Duquesne.
Oh, get over it. Get over it, Kevin.
No, we already talked about this. Wasn't this like an hour
ago?
It
happened in the episode.
He had 30 seconds of screen time in this one. Come on.
Good point, Mike. Good point. There are no small roles. There are only great, amazing characters played in small little.
I will give him the credit of I did enjoy the way his character handled this moment. And it was actually quite funny when he was like, okay, well, I'll see you at the holiday party.
Yeah. I'm saying this right now. If they announce tomorrow we're doing a spinoff with the swordsman, he's going to be the lead. You two would both be like, I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch because Remark would definitely cover that. All right, get him off the screen.
Get him out of here.
Then Clint
this is the serious moment. Come on, there it is. Yeah.
Clint goes to the New York Memorial, Battle of New York Memorial there. This was awesome. And, he takes his hearing aid out. He talks to Natasha. He is completely grounded in the scene. This is Jeremy Renner, who's already done some of the best acting of all of Marvel in this series. And then he does this, which was so damn good. It was excellent, man.
Yeah.
The Voromir music once again plays as he's kind of pouring his soul out to Natasha. Obviously she's not there, not to hear, but this is the moment when he apologizes to her. He says he misses her and I'm sorry, and he turns to leave because at this point he's going to retake on the mantle.
At first I did get scared. I was like, wait a minute, who are we going to go kill? But then I was like, wait a minute. Oh, just putting that outfit back on meant, embodying it.
She got him out of that world. Yeah.
But do you think if this will go, so this is like a prediction question for me. Do you think this series will go so far? I don't think they're really going to kill Yelena because they've got plans for the young Avengers. Yeah. But do you think in his mind, in this moment, he was like, I might have to save my family right now and make sure that they are completely fine for the rest of their life. Although when he didn't kill Maya, I was like, well, he's never going to do it. But that's how he makes sure his family's safe. He kills Maya, he kills Yelena. You know what I mean? He kills Pinkman,
but he doesn't know yet that Yelena is Natasha's sister at this point in the episode.
Right. Well, I think, even when he's fighting with Echo, Maya rather, I just think it's so interesting that someone is able to fight to kill and fight to just fight. Yeah. I think that is so cool about these assassins because you can tell the difference. There's there's a fight to maneuver, and I love the choreography of it because he knows that she's able to hear the blade coming. He doesn't do any moves that she's not going to be able to predict. And I think that's just, I don't know, that fight scene was really cool. Also when I don't know why, but I really wanted some Christmas song to be playing first of all, we got a little Run DMC with these boys.
So good.
And a little beatboxing.
So good.
It was so funny. But so, I just wonder, when they were in the fight scene right after this, I wanted Christmas music while they were all being Home Alone music.
Oh yeah. That's interesting.
This was amazing, and I would have pooped my pants if that arrow came at me through a windshield like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh, I didn't I wish I grabbed a still of that. I didn't even think to.
Yikes.
Yeah, this is when they literally go over the history of tracksuits and the cool people who have worn them. Obviously, Run DMC, one of the earliest that we see, at least in pop culture. They reference Tommy Smith, who was the Olympian who wore the tracksuit on the dais. There you go. Then you have Tony Soprano, obviously, notoriously wearing his tracksuit all the time. And finally, it's mentioned the Royal Tenenbaums, which is hilarious, because then Ivan says, we're not the Royal Tenenbaums.
I don't think the Royal Tenenbaums do it.
Which also takes place in New York, so again, it all is fine.
Yeah.
They but I also love that when they read the note in the arrow, he's like, but we're not Maya. They're so dumb and they're so funny. Yeah. I love them.
They're messengers. The two tracksuits in pop culture that immediately popped into my head. The first one was The Gentleman. If you've ever seen the movie The Gentleman, this is, if you haven't seen it,
new Guy Ritchie. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, Guy Ritchie film. Colin Farrell, excellent. And all of those guys were troubled youths that he took under his wing, taught them to fight, and they all wear tracksuits, but they're designer high-end tracksuits. Just see that movie. It's a really good one. And then I mean, obviously they couldn't reference this because it wasn't even in the zeitgeist of pop culture when they made it. But the Squid Game, everybody's in a tracksuit in the Squid Game. So that right there. You are looking at this year's Halloween costume, 2022.
I saw so many at Comic-Cons. Oh my
Yep.
gosh.
Yeah, if you can't wear a costume, that's it. You just found it.
I love Christmas in Hollis. Shout out to our Run DMC.
That's one of my favorite Christmas songs.
So good. So good. So good.
Honestly, that to me is the reason that the Die Hard is a Christmas movie is blatantly obvious, because this song opens the movie and it's like,
you're like, oh, here we go.
It's funny you mention that, Kevin, because this scene I think also like really just tied in that one. Die Hard was so good, but the series is so good because I think they really are harkening back to that like 90s style of action where you've got the action scenes, you've got the heartfelt scenes between the characters, so you're getting to see the characters through their like the action, you know, but then you've got this like, it's okay to have like comic relief, it's okay to have these like silly guys that have like other stories going on and are making references, like it's okay to have fun, filmmakers and writers, it's okay. It's okay.
Although we never found out if the one dude saw the Imagine Dragons with his girlfriend or not.
We never. I feel
episode
like
6. Episode 6.
I don't think
that's what it's about. It's just all at the concert. So then Clint calls Laura, perhaps to say goodbye even. The idea of he may not make it home. So we'll talk about this in a second, but they talk on the phone, and at the very end of the conversation, she says, listen, do what you have to do. I trust you. He does reference, once again, the big man and Santa Claus, and then he goes and puts on the outfit. That said, very quickly, there was a lot of talk about this. I personally buy into it. There is some talk that Linda Cardellini's character, Laura, is a agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is possible. I personally think she is Mockingbird, because in the comic books, now, Clint was married, he did get divorced, which I don't, from Mockingbird. I don't think they'll go that route.
It's been a long, exhausting day.
Mike's done with us. He's gotten us off. I think that Mockingbird will be revealed that she is somebody. If you go back and watch, I believe it's Age of Ultron, when the Avengers come to the farm, the Barton farm, and they're all in the barn together. Tony says something where he refers to her as like an agent, or says, "Were you an?" I forget how it plays out. But it is that idea that she's not simply this civilian. So
I think she's very like what's her face, like Simmons or Fitz, where like they're not in the field, they have like some sort of research or scientific sort of something, and she might be very like recon work.
Very possible. If she's Mockingbird, she was in the field and ultimately decided she didn't want to do it anymore. And they basically killed off the character that was Mockingbird, which I forget her name was Bobby something. And then she would take on a new mantle of like Laura, whomever. But we'll see. There's only one episode left. Whether they would go into that, who knows? But there is still that watch that we don't quite know what is the watch.
Right.
So,
it might have like intel about her or like other people that have gotten out. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love the, this brings up a good point. We mentioned a couple episodes, but I just love the teases in Marvel. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like there's just by hinting at this, Kevin, gets you and all us other hundreds and hundreds of nerds to start talking about it. And I love, I actually do. We talked a little bit about like the internet being a little bit toxic sometimes when it comes to things like this. It can ruin things. It can spoil things. It can, you know, but I do think there's a lot of good, like artistic fervor of people heading back to the comics and being like, oh, will they do this? Will they won't? You know, they throw the names, they give people names that don't matter. Like they're like, we're never going to play out this storyline, but we want the fans to start talking. And I think that is part of the fun of these for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. And you know, again, there are 6 episodes, almost like 45 to 50-minute episodes. You're not going to do all the stories.
Yeah, it's too much.
But if Jack is nothing, boy, will I give him a low score next week.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I think the whole episode next week is just going to be Jack. He's going to be at the Imagine Dragon concert. It's going to be on. He's opening for them. So then we come to the fight scene that Kristin was talking about. This fight scene, there he is. He's donning the Ronin outfit. This fight scene, again, it wasn't over the top the way some of the fight scenes have been, but it was so well done. And I watched it twice because I was like, don't need to hide stuff in these super close-ups that it's, and I don't mean to pick on DC, but DC loves to do the dark close-ups. And it's like your mind isn't processing what's happening. All of these people, I'm not saying the actors, but the stunt coordinators, the stunt persons who are involved are doing the work. Like you're seeing the work, and they're doing long takes. They're doing long shots, medium shots, so that it's not all hidden. And it was really, really well done.
Yeah, really.
Which is funny because it totally reminded me of Batman's style of attacking a large group because of he likes to like whip in and like kind of pull guys away and like come from below. But but like to your comparison of the DC movies, this was just so well. It felt like I was watching, like I was playing a video game. It felt like I was playing a video game.
Yeah.
I was Ronin and I was like taking these guys out, or these folks out one by one. It was cool.
I don't know if either of you watched the Arrow series with Stephen Amell. It's very much how he would also like sneak up on like a group of people and stuff like that. So like and even this outfit looks a little bit more like that than so I'm glad Clint didn't kill her. I think I would have been a little taken aback if he did, but I do like that she never gave up, if that makes sense. Like and I thought that they did again her being able to read his lips part really cool. Yeah, it's just shot really cool.
Yep. The close up, they were doing those extreme close-ups when they were talking, and he reveals himself to say I'm Ronin. And she says, you just want me to see, you want to see me when you kill me, and he said, I'm not going to kill you.
And it's also just to get her to like stop, like I'm literally showing you who I am. Yeah. Because you're going to find this out anyway, but I want to do this now to let you know that you're done.
And he does take the weight off of Kate Bishop at that point. There's
yes.
So sure, her storyline is not over, but like the peril is greatly decreased.
And it's also now that if Maya would go out and tell the world who Ronin is, that's a lot more people after Clint and his family. Yeah. Which is why I think he was explaining that to Lara, his wife, of just like, yo, I put this back on. I'm going to tell her who I am. And there's a lot more people that could potentially find us.
That's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point. I didn't think of that extension of it. You know what I mean? I was sort of like, oh, he's just finalizing this business. But him taking on that responsibility of exposing himself just to get it over with. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
That's a lot. That's that's a lot heavier of a load than just letting one person who thinks you killed.
Right. Or killing that one person, right?
Killing that one person. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah. So also in that moment, he reveals to her that there was an informant that told him as Ronin where her father would be. And we now know he knows who she works for. We personally don't as the audience. I think it's Jack still. I mean, the guy is just so slow. And she goes to a place to figure out who that informant is, but she also turns the tide on him right here and flips him over, grabs the sword, and is basically about to kill him when luckily Kate Bishop shows up, arrow in hand, and knocks the sword out of Maya's hand. So once again saves the day. When Maya's attention turns back to where Hawkeye was, he's gone. When she turns back up to look for Kate, presumably she's gone too. So just awesome. I mean, it was like superhero 101. It was just such a fun scene.
I felt like the Grinch, and my heart grew like 3 times its size when Clint handed her the arrow as they were walking. Like
and that's huge. Yep.
Stop.
Yeah.
I want that poster on my wall. Like that is the coolest shot. I was like, shut up. Well done, Marvel. Well done.
Right before this scene is where where Kate reveals to Clint that Elena is Nat's sister in the cab. She does use the name Tabitha, so I thought maybe it was Tabitha all along. I thought about doing a whole bit on that too.
Come on.
I don't have time for that.
But this face, thank you for having this acting of Jeremy Renner is so good. His face is such an, oh my God, when he's like, I don't know how, I can't do it. Mine's gonna look like
no, Chris, do it, please.
Tell me that it was Natasha's sister, and I'll do it.
Yelena is Natasha Romanoff's sister.
That was pretty good. That was actually pretty good.
I added the sound effect. You were excellent. Yeah.
But normally I'd be like, that was really hard for me to hold back. This was beautiful though.
So that's, with the handing off of the arrow, to me, that is that unification at the beginning of this. And you can see this in the episodes. The episode either has Hawkeye or it has Hawkeye and 2 arrows hit it. And if the 2 arrows hit it in every episode so far, you have had Kate and Clint have been together. If they don't both hit, they've been separated. So they were separated in this episode. The arrow
Did you just make that up?
No,
Where did you learn that?
That's true. Go look it up. Go look it up. So on the next episode, if only 1 arrow hits, that spells possible trouble.
Oh, no.
If 3 arrows hit, maybe the 3rd one is going to be my man Jack, and I would be surprised. But that was it, guys. That was the end of the episode, as far as I remember. And
what?
Am I wrong? Did I forget something? What did I forget?
Little something.
I
got.
Hold on, I gotta.
Go to grill.
Hello, Kate Bishop. Kate Bishop
Get
got
the
10.
bishop.
Right. So they go to grills. They're having some pizza, chilling out. She gets a little texty text because we see Yelena is following Eleanor around. They both have umbrellas. I thought they were seeing Mary Poppins or something. And we find out that Eleanor, is inspired Yelena to kill Hawkeye. Also, there's another guy in the picture. What is that picture, Mike? Can we see that?
Let me just bring it up here for
It's
Kingpin!
Oh my
God! It's Kingpin!
That guy. Here's the amazing thing. The amazing thing about the casting of this bald fella, who I don't know who he's.
Whoever it is.
It's Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin! It's Vincent D'Onofrio. It's the Kingpin from the Daredevil Netflix series that was cut 1 season too short. And oh my God, he's back, everybody.
What a thrill.
Look,
he is back.
Christmas came early.
I can't tell if I'm more excited because as part of the problems of the internet and part of the good of the internet, I was 100% certain, like everybody else, it's D'Onofrio. He's coming back. Kingpin. Here's Fat Guy Tires. Here's like all this stuff. Of course, it's him. But there's always that like.
Well, you don't know when it's gonna happen. You don't know when it's gonna happen. I think that's the surprise. You know what I mean? You know it's your birthday. You know it's your birthday. Yeah, you know it's your birthday day, but you don't know what's gonna happen on.
That's a good point. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, I shouted King when because the pause was great. The writing was great because she's like, it was kind of like awkward, and that's why it was hilarious. Oh, my mom met this guy. Like, who is it? And then they cut to his face. You don't see the phone, and I literally shouted in my living room. I was like, "It's Kingpin!" It's Kingpin! And then it cuts to the phone. My only disappointment. Well, so Kevin, to your point. I'm very excited. I'm Spider-Man. That's one of my greatest arch rivals is Kingpin, and maybe someone will show up other places. I think the series gave it away. If you have any idea what's going on, with that scene with it where he touches Maya and says, you know what I mean? And we knew what was going on. We knew what was happening. You have to be like under a rock. I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't a scene with him. I would have loved other episodes. I would have loved if I'm gonna nitpick. Here. Let me nitpick because I'm a Marvel nerd. Yep. I would have loved if they hit if he was out of frame in that video and she hit play and you see the mom and then he doesn't need to say anything. Just walk into frame a little bit. That's all. That's my only nitpick. Otherwise, I was happy. I screamed it was Kingpin. I can't wait for episode 6. But the still of his image on the phone and then to throw his name in the credits, it was a tiny bit disappointing.
Sure, I guess I agree. We always want more, right? But I was very happy, and I think what put the cherry on top of this was the song they immediately closed out with after seeing this. I was like, well done.
That cut
which I have added to our A Hawkeye Christmas playlist. So please follow that. But I was like, wow, it just, oh man, there couldn't have been any other song they could have played in that moment.
Shout out to the editing team or whatever, because they nailed it. It went right from the da-na-na-na-na-na, you know what I mean? It was beautiful.
Yeah.
So good.
So, I mean, that was it, man. What an amazing, again, Marvel nails these, second to last episodes every single time they do it.
Yeah.
there's a lot of talk right now. They do it obviously to be able to play in it's that coming from improv, the three of us. You set everything up, and now it's just playing. You just play it all out now. So the next episode, and it'll also set up for whatever comes next that this will launch. Into. I don't know that they'll reference Spider-Man, but who the hell knows, man?
They might.
Do you think we'll get I think this next episode is going to be a little bit more action-y, but then our last episode of Loki, because that last episode of Loki, we really had a lot of just sitting around and listening, though it was very important and crazy for the multiverse, or just a lot of folks were disappointed in that. I was not, but I will be happy with whatever they sort of. I need Clint in a Santa suit, more beat up than he already is, and just opens the door to his house and makes it in. I need to see that.
I guess that's my question for you guys is he going to make it home for Christmas? We've talked about it before, and now it's seeming more and more like he may not. I mean, I'd like to think he's going to.
They won't kill him, because then
Kristin, there's a lot of redemption arc stuff here, and
they haven't done that in the series yet. They have not. I mean, it would be a.
It'd be great. At the end of Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
At the end of Happy Gilmore, when everybody's up in the cloud, that's kind of what I want. Kate Bishop to just be walking, and it's Natasha and Hawkeye up in the cloud being like, "You got this."
I want her to see Natasha and Hawkeye, and then I want her to be like an old lady to come up and be like, "What's your name?" And she says, "My name is Kate Skywalker." No, that would be a terrible ending. And Marvel's going to do a way better job. No, I hope. I would be disappointed if it became super heady and sort of this series so far has laid so much into characters. You know what I mean? And those characters dealing with different things. I don't know if we're going to get in 45 minutes, or I don't know how long this last episode is, everything we want. You know what I mean? To see from every single character. I think there's going to be a lot of cliffhangers and loose ends with the younger characters, the Kate the Bishops and the Yelenas, you know what I mean? But and obviously in Kingpin, but I hope that it's action packed. I need this to be super action packed. I think in their purple suits, you know what I mean? Just shooting arrows all over the place. And he gets home for Christmas is my dream sort of ending. If I will also say that if he dies or somehow goes away or retire, hopefully he goes away and retires.
That's fine.
I think it's gonna be. I'm okay with that. I think it would be a good ending to this character. Him giving himself up, maybe via death, to sort of make sure that everyone else moving forward is safe. That's all.
I could see it being equally if he sacrifices himself like Natasha did. Fine. But don't Dean Winchester kill it. I don't know if I don't think either of you watched Supernatural, but that was the most upsetting. We knew he was gonna die, but it was the stupidest death in the world. Don't do that to us. Make it a death.
I my heart says they're not going to kill him, that he's going to go home, he's going to take the dog home, and that's just kind of that'll be the end of his chapter. Obviously Kate's mother is a question, because who's she going to live with? Kate's mother's obviously problematic. Mike does have a picture he's holding, and he said, do we want to show it? We can show it real fast. I loved what we just did with Kingpin, though, so I was like, is it anticlimactic to do this? But there is the talk about, why do Chris and Mike hate Jack? I don't know. But that Madame Mask, there's a lot of talk that is who this character will ultimately become, and Madame Mask works with Kingpin. So I don't know. I have no idea where they're going to go, which is what I love about this.
There's so many paths right now.
I feel like Loki set up storyline for other. I mean, obviously there's the branches of the timeline, but there was such a component to Secret Wars that's in there, or Secret Invasion rather, that's in there, that I feel building
100% to that.
And I feel like a lot of that is going to pay off many years down the road, and people will go back to that and go, whereas this is about to pay off, I think, immediately. Whatever comes out of this, I think is going to be immediate. So regardless, we have Spider-Man tomorrow night. We have Hawkeye next week, and then that is the end for a little while. So,
yikes!
What the hell are we gonna do?
What are we gonna do? Oh man!
Luckily, there are other things on Disney Plus and other huge nerddoms that we also know and love. But what could that be? I don't know. We know it's Kingpin, everybody.
Yeah!
It's been a long, exhausting day. Your troubles just won't go away. One thing that gets you through these is watching cheesy holiday movies. You think that you're above them, but you know that you love them. So get ready to listen. Now here comes Kevin and Kristin. Oh yeah.
I'm here too. Bye, everybody.
See you next week.